Hello, hi, I'm Dr. Richard Barker, and I'm gonna introduce you to how I grew my space chilies, and then I'm gonna introduce you to the Space Chili Challenge data sharing app that I'll show you through the computer upstairs. Okay, so this is my studio. Let's go find some chilies. I've got some sculpting, some art that I've been making just over there. Okay, so quick look at some light art. Okay, so I'm into plant biology. So these are some microscope images that I took during my PhD. So I'm a plant scientist, but now I'm really interested in going into outer space. So this is a photo of the first space launch. I had the honor to work with Professor Simon Gilroy on at the UW-Madison Astrobotany Research Lab. So that was a piece of art. But this is my back room. So this is my spaceship Earth, and I'm growing some vegetables down here. So you can see, just. This is my new microgreen experiment I've set up, got some cameras going. This is all aimed at trying to help astronauts on the space station get healthy food, healthy greens. And as you can see, I think plants are really relaxing. I've got like my little bonsai trees and my succulents to kind of like help me stay sane during COVID isolation. So this is my workbench. This is where I take my cuttings, make clones of plants. And I use my computers to like look inside them with microscopes and stuff. This is one of my little tomato plants I'm growing, and these are some seed savers, these some peppers that came from the supermarket. Okay, cool. But my space chilies, they're in my hydroponic tower, just over here. Okay, so the light adjusts. I don't know if you can see the chili there. So I had a real problem with insects. Hopefully that won't be an issue in outer space. Like, we'll have to make sure NASA don't send any insects up with the space crops. But I've got some flowers forming, and just around the other side, I've got some actual chilies formed. I found my first chili today. I was actually really excited because I've never grown a chili indoors before. So it's just down here. Okay, so this Thai basil, I'm growing too much Thai basil, it's crazy. It's beautiful flowers, it's absolutely beautiful. It smells delicious too, almost like aniseedy, it's really rich. I was going for lots of like purple plants, but as you can see in here, this is one of my space chilies. I don't know if you can see that. This is the first one. I'm really excited by it. It's still early days, I don't know if I should harvest it yet, maybe leave it a bit longer. But I have to come around every day or two and basically kill insects. It's really frustrating. You can see there's a bit of like white on the leaves, a bit of bleaching that's occurring. So I had a problem with pH. Whoops. I had a problem with pH, and I got some pH down, and I there you go, this stuff. Added it to the hydroponics, to the solution. I might have got the concentrations wrong. But yeah, like the tomatoes are growing. I've got some tomatoes over here, and so these are all clones. So in the spring, when I put the tomatoes in the garden, I took some cuttings off the bottoms of them, and then just moved them inside. So now I'm looking at these chilies, and I'll keep looking for opportunities to try and clone them, but. Anyway, I'll let them fruit. So at the same time as growing these chilies, I've been playing some computer games to help me access NASA data, and I built some web resources on my website, UW-Madison Astrobiology Education website. You can get there, and one of the tools I've been creating is a data harvesting and sharing application that should allow me to share the data I'm generating here growing my chili with people like you, and hopefully you guys sharing back. So I'm going to cut from this personal introduction to my computer screen, and then kind of show you some of the data that's been shared already through some friends in like Florida and Japan, and then show you what we're learning by collaborating in this international manner. So finally, I'm just gonna say, let's grow plants in space.
Okay, from my basement to my Martian garden to my lab for the students to the Space Chili Challenge. Okay, straight. So this is a data sharing application that I've generated to harvest data using the EpiCollect app, and then to share it with the other Space Chili Challenge contestants or people. So you can find the project in EpiCollect. It's called the Space Chili Challenge. So far I've got 12 entries, and you can view the data. And I made this app to help make the data easier to explore and analyze. So these are different entries. There's a bunch of questions that people who use the app answer that inform us about their chili, the environment, and how they're like growing it. Also allows us to share in pictures and eventually measurements of things like size and spiciness. So this is a truly global collaboration. We've got friends in Japan and Florida and all over the world who are participating, and this is just the beginning. So Space Chili Challenge allows us to share data about our chilies. So this is a friend of mine, she's a teacher, and here she's showing us how she's measuring the height of the plants and the size of the chilies. And so we'll then be able to correlate how the plant looks with like the spiciness by processing those samples. So there's many different types of data that we would want to share. So you can think of like the location is just the beginning. This app means that anyone can access the data. So that we're going to filter only for Matanes chilies. So these are the varieties that are being used by Space Chili Challenge. When I was making this app, I needed to use a data point from my front garden about a mystery chili that was provided by my next door neighbor. But now we can focus just on chilies from this experiment, and we can look at the environmental metadata. And so we can look at the humidity and the temperature, and we can see the variation that people have based on where they're growing them. So some places the chilies are growing in hotter environments, and some places more humid, and that's going to affect the final product. We think it's a hypothesis. So we have the growth methods too. People are sharing like the different ways that they are like growing their like chilies. So for example, some people are growing them inside their home under growth lights. Some people are doing them outside in their garden. Some using controlled environments, and some that don't fit into these categories. And so people can actually share like a greater description of their growth methods in the system. Also, watering is a crucial component. Some people are using hydroponics, some people are using like Martian regolith simulants. And so essentially we can start to see if any of the different hardware or irrigation systems have an effect on the size of the plants and the spiciness. And it's actually some people have added lots of extra detail here. We can see the types of fertilizers that people are using. That's really important. So this citizen science project is as wealthy as the data that you share. The more people that partake and share information, the more valuable this thing comes as a whole for everyone. So we can look at the plant metadata. We can see the days to germination, days to flowering, the fruit formation, the average time to harvest. So a lot of these questions that we were asking, I didn't actually really think to ask until after speaking with Jacob and other like astrobotany researchers, and then so this set of questions has kind of evolved over time. All the data again can be downloaded and it's accessible. You just click on the green button and it pops out. Finally, the chili, you could argue, is probably the most important of it, like the actual fruit that you eat, like what's its width, its height, its length. And what's the total number? We're seeing actually quite a large range in the number of chilies that people are getting from the same like seed stock. So that's actually fascinating, and hopefully there'll be some correlations with the way they're growing it, like the information about their environment. And so having a system that coordinates a set of questions and allows people to share their answers is actually going to be really informative for helping people develop future experiments that could follow on. So finally, like we've also quizzed people on their user experience, so giving you the opportunity to leave a recording, either video and or audio, to describe to us or tell us about anything that you've encountered that you want to highlight. So for me, it was the insects in my basement. I had a queen fly infection, and so battling them has been the real feature of my experiment, not what I intended. And so in here, this gives you the opportunity to share if you've had any revelation moments, any like eurekas. Did you accidentally get the pH too high or too low, and observe some kind of interesting change in the physiology or the size or the spiciness of the fruit? There's many unknown questions within any plant growth experiment, and this is why we wanted to provide you guys the opportunity to use this tool to share your experience with each other and with the research team ourselves. Again, this can be easily accessed through the EpiCollect 5 app. It's a free app available on Android and iOS. It can be downloaded, and there is the SpaceChiliChallenge program within that. Over.